Hello everyone, I'm Bruffy1322 and welcome to GTAcars.net. I'm so happy to finally be able to officially release this and give it to you guys to have a play around with. This is basically the new best place to find out any information you could possibly need about cars in GTA, specifically GTA 5 right now, but hopefully in future all of the GTA games. I'm going to talk a little bit more about where this came from and also where it's going to be going and future plans and what my idea with this is later on in the video. For now, I want to show you how the site works, what you can do with it, because it's pretty powerful. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit just so you can see it better on the screen. This is the main vehicle page for GTA 5. So we've got all the vehicles listed here. We've got a lot of filtering and sorting options, which I will come back to because I'm going to first of all start showing you what we also have, which is a page for every single vehicle. Now there's multiple social club images, and the plan is to expand this as well as we go on in terms of videos and all that kind of stuff as well, and images from different sources. And we've got a wealth of information here. You've got what game it's in, because the plan is to expand this to other games that over and above GTA 5. The type of vehicle it is, the class, the manufacturer, how many seats it has, the drivetrain, all-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive, and even whether it's 20% of the power to the front wheels, for example, or 80% to the rear. We've got the weight and the dimensions of the car as well. We've got a performance section, which gives you what class and what tier it's in. You can see the lap time. You can see where it places in lap time for the Supers class. Same for top speed. We got the off-road traction loss, what upgrades it has, and any improvements that you can get on it, like having a spoiler. Information here about where you can buy the vehicle or upgrade it at regular mod shops. Obviously, a lot of different vehicles can be stored and upgraded in all sorts of different places. We got the price. We've got all the handling data, first of all, in a basic level. So the engine power, the drag, the amount of gears it has. And if you click any of these, you can also get an explanation of what these values mean. If you keep going, you'll get the full handling data, which is, from the game files itself. And again, for every single one of these, you can click something to tell you exactly what each of these values means. I'll come on to that in the other pages as well, because there's other ways to see that. All the sort of metadata for the vehicle, in-game description. Basically, on these vehicle pages, it has every bit of information you could possibly need for the car or vehicle that you're looking at. Obviously, the more important stuff is, or the more relevant stuff, I should say, is towards the front and the top of the vehicle page. But it's got everything that you could possibly need. Now, it's also quite powerful in some ways because you can click any of these and it will take you to the main vehicle page with all the vehicles and give you information beyond that. So say performance section, I want to race the 811 and I want to race it with other tier E supercars. This 811 is in the E tier for the supercars class for racers. If I want to know all the other cars in the E tier for supercars class for racers, all I got to do is click that. And immediately it applies the filter and shows me all the cars that are in the E tier for supercar racers. They're all right there. The same is true of, say, manufacturer. The manufacturer is Fister of the 811. If I click Fister, it will show me all cars made by Fister. And that goes on for pretty much everything that's here. If I say there, for example, the 811 is 41st place out of 53 in supers for supercar racers. I click that and I get all the supercars ranked by lap time, just straight off. So that leads us into a good segue, I suppose, of the filtering and sorting system. So let me just clear all this off. First of all, you've got filters. Filters, a wide variety of different filters. You've got specific classes. So if I want to see all the boats, for example, I can do that. And that's every single boat in the game. If I want to see, helicopters, there they all are. All available. We also have a jobs class section because there's a little bit of GTA isn't very consistent with stuff like this, so it's always hard to categorize these things as well as they should be. So yeah, say for example, I want to do a sports race, then these are all the vehicles that are available in sports races. Now, if I want to find out which vehicles are available in sports races that aren't actually in the sport class, because there are certain elements of that in different classes, I can select sport in the regular class, and then I can click remove from selection. So I'm removing all cars that are in the regular sport class and only leaving cars that are eligible for sports races. And you can see there it is, the Sterling GT. The Sterling GT is a sports classic car, as you can see right there, but it is also available in sports races. You can do the same thing for the off-road class, which has a lot of vehicles that you can race with that aren't in the off-road class. Remove from selection, and there you go. These are a lot of vehicles that you can use in off-road races that aren't actually in the off-road class. You've got SUVs, you've got motorcycles, sports classic with the Mariachi Tornado, for example. So there's a lot of powerful things that you can do with all of these filters, and there's a lot of different filters as well. You can filter by number of seats, the race tier. So for example, I could sort of go to supercars and go to tier A, and then I'd be able to see all of the cars that are in the A tier for supercars class. Again, a lot of different options. Release year, you can see, filter by when vehicles were released. You can filter by the DLC that they were released. Every single DLC is available here. So if I go to Expanded and Enhanced Edition, for example, you'll see all the vehicles that were added with the Expanded and Enhanced version of the game. And just a lot of things you can do with all these filters. Have a play around with it. There's a lot of stuff that you can do. There's quite a few different sort of tags that have been put on, so you can see all cars that have downforce, all cars that have active spoilers, or which cars are quicker with lowest suspension. There's all sorts of different things here. The best way, I can't show you all of it, the best way is to just get on the site and have a play around and try to find something that you're most interested in. So those are the filters, but we also have sorting as well. So as you can see, everything at the minute is sorted by name, A to Z, but I can also sort by lap time. And as you can see, there's the fastest vehicles by lap time. You can sort by top speed. You can reverse the order, so we can see the slowest vehicles. There's the Dozer. You can sort by, let's say, price. Highest price, Luxor Deluxe, we know that. We sort by seats, number of seats. We can sort by the mass, so the heaviest vehicle in the game. There you go, it's the Rhino tank. The lightest vehicle, let's find out. Well, the RC Bandito, I didn't know that. Off-road traction loss, you can sort by all these things. And also, release date obviously as well, so you can see the earliest cars and the newest cars. But also, beyond that, you can apply sorting to the filters. So again, if I go to the sports class and then I sort by lap time, there it is. There's all the sports class sorted by lap time. And you'll notice that whatever you're sorting by is listed here. And even if you hover over it, you can see where it is in position. So if I change to top speed, that metric on the vehicle card will change to the top speed of the vehicles, as you can see there. Again, this is all zoomed in so that you can, see it better, but obviously it's even more usable when it's at full 100% zoom, and then you can see a lot more, but just for the purposes of showing you, I wanted to zoom in. So there's all sorts of things that you can do with it. The best way to do it, like it was with the filters, is to just play around with it. You can filter by certain things, then you can sort by certain things. You can just sort however you want. It's very powerful, and you can just filter and sort by so many different things that you can pretty much very easily find whatever it is that you're particularly trying to find. It's not too difficult to do that because there's just so many options. We also have the search vehicles section as well. So even if you don't want to, mess around with the filters, it's pretty powerful that if you just want to see all the Banshees, you just type Banshee and you get all the Banshees. If you want to see all the HSW cars, type HSW and there you go. It's a very powerful search function, so feel free to play around with that as well. It'll even know if you get, if I type Rune instead of June, yes, it gives me Ruiner, but it also gives me June. It knows it takes into account some spelling mistakes and things like that. So very easy to, just get an idea of it's very easy to find what you want, basically. Some other things that we can look at with the Banshee, for example, there is also a section that tells you what you can turn the Banshee into. Can be converted into Banshee 900R and the HSW Banshee, and then if you click those vehicles, you go straight to the vehicle that it is. So again, because there's so many different vehicles and all these different ways to categorize them, and you've got Benny's vehicles that can turn into custom versions of the vehicles, the Sultan turns into the Sultan RS and all that kind of stuff. It's all on the site, it's all baked in, and everything's like clickable and just easy to use. And that was one of the main things that I wanted with this site, is just simple, easy to use, clean, no nonsense anywhere else on the site. Just the easiest and fastest way for you to get the information that you need. One other thing that I should mention on this main vehicles page here is that you can click this button to show more info, and it gives you basically the very basic stuff, the things that will be most relevant to most people. Obviously, by default, you've got what class it's in, the price, and the maker of the car, the manufacturer. And then if you show more info, obviously this is without any kind of sorting. You can just do this at any point. You get the number of seats, the class, the race class that it can be used in, and what tier. So, for example, the Sterling GT, you can see that it shows Sports Classics for tier B and Sports for tier E. So you can see that it can be used in both of those races. It tells you when it was released and what DLC it was released. Again, you can just click that and you'll go to all of the other vehicles that were released with the Ill-Gotten Gains Part 1 DLC. Lap time, top speed, drivetrain, and the model ID as well. Again, it's all just there. It's all easy. And just have a play around with it. Have fun with it. This search vehicles box at the top is actually the newest edition. I'm glad we finally got that, because then it allows you to just, type whatever you want from any vehicle page as well, and it does the same function as the search box there. Now, we've also got some other pages. As you can see in the GTA 5 drop down, there's the vehicles page, which is the main page with all the vehicles on, but we've got various articles as well. Some of these have come from my personal site. A lot of this data used to be on my site at bruffy.com. I'm going to be basically, that is getting moved over to the GTAcars.net site. We just haven't done the tiers yet. I want to keep the tier lists on my site at the minute, because we basically need to find a better way to, show them at the minute. If you go to sports, for example, and sort by race tier, they're kind of all mixed in together. You've got S tier and then A tier and then B tier, and it doesn't sort of delineate between the tiers. So that's one of the features that we're looking into and trying to work out how best to display that. So I'm going to keep the tiers on Bruffy.com for a little bit of time, but most of the stuff that's on the cars resources section of my site is basically getting moved over to here. And for example, upgrades. There's the article that I wrote that basically explains about all the upgrades, what you need on a car to make it the quickest possible, how it all works. Then we've got the setup page, which talks about how you can set up cars and change the center of mass and all that kind of stuff. The downforce mechanics page, which is relating to the downforce video and is background for that. So it's all there, and also we've got metadata glossary as well, which is what I was talking about earlier, where you can click on any of the handling file attributes, and it will just bring a pop-up explaining what that attribute is. It's all listed here on one page as well. So if you're into doing a bit of the modding of the game, or you're just curious what all of those attributes mean for every vehicle in the handling files, you can find it out. For example, percentage submerged, how deep the vehicle can be submerged in water before drowning as a percentage of the model's height. It's just, everything is there. Basically, this is, it's trying to be the one-stop shop for all vehicle information in GTA. I've been covering vehicles in this game for the last 8-9 years, and taking all that wealth of information that we as a community have found and putting it all in one place. We've also got the About Us page, which I'll talk a little bit about towards the end, because I'll just explain basically all of this to you in video form, but it explains, where it all came from, how you can support, credits for, massively big job, well done to Andrew for being the main programmer of the site. But we had a lot of help along the way of feedback and all that kind of stuff. And we will be constantly making, small iterative changes just to improve the user experience and doing some data checking and things like that. And it's only going to get better from here. But I think it's currently at a stage where I just want you guys to be able to utilize this and have fun with it and use it as a resource. So bookmark it, gtacars.net. Put it in your bookmarks and just use it, because that's what it's there for. I am paying for this, just that I wanted it to be clean. I didn't want any ads on it or any nonsense. I'm just paying for the upkeep of the site like I do with Bruffy.com, for example. So I want you guys to use it and enjoy it and for it to be a good resource for you. The one thing that you can't see is in the top right, there's a little preferences button. And this will be getting expanded as well, with more preferences as time goes on. But you can use this to, for example, if you're not a fan of miles per hour, I'll tell you what, I'll sort by top speed. So you can see, there you go, everything's in miles per hour at the moment. You just click that and it goes to kilometers an hour. I think the default setting for the site is kilometers an hour. So if you come onto the site and you see that, just come here and click use miles per hour. And it will switch it, and it will remember as well, whatever your setting is here. You can also hide the images if you just want to see, the basic information without any images. And you can also auto expand the vehicle page. You can also auto expand the vehicle info. So basically, every time you come to the site again, it will be like this. But if you want it to automatically have all the information for every car, you can set that in the preferences as well. And again, this will be getting changed and expanded as time goes on, because we've got all sorts of plans for the future. The main things that are hopefully coming very soon are, again, the tier system. So there's better delineation between the tiers when you're sorting by that, or at least an alternative way to display that information. So it's a little bit easier to look up the tiers as quickly as possible. And also a dark mode. Obviously, people will want a dark mode. That'll be one of the main things that comes very soon. And that's the sort of the things that we're working on straight away. But like I said, we'll also be consistently iterating on the whole site and just making small improvements here and there as time goes on. We also, my personal desire is to not make this just about GTA 5. There's a reason that we have a GTA 5 section. There's a reason that we have a drop down on the search vehicles page that it allows you to choose GTA 5. There's a reason it's called gtacars.net and not gta5cars.net. It's because I would like to add GTA 4 cars next, then GTA 3, Vice City, San Andreas, all going back to the 2D era. The general larger scope of this site is that I want it to be the number one place for all cars and all vehicle information in all of the GTAs. Obviously, going back to, the 3D era stuff, we're not going to be going into as much detail of classes and top speeds and all that kind of stuff, but there are certain things you can glean from the handling files even on those more basic games, and yeah, that is going to be the long-term future of the site, hopefully. Also got some features that I would like to put in, for example, a comparison feature, so that you'll be able to choose 2 or 3 cars and compare them. You would just see 3 tables, for example, of the 3 cars that you've chosen, and you'd be able to scroll through and see the engine power of the 811 versus the engine power of the 8F, and you just see every single individual thing side by side. So that's another thing that I hopefully will be coming in the not too distant future. There's plenty of room for expansion, but even as it is right now, it's ready to go. It's ready for you guys to use it and abuse it and enjoy it and get some use out of it. So please do. gtacars.net. Go to it, bookmark it, use it. So how did all of this come about? There's a sort of a brief history on the About Us page, and I'm just going to talk basically a little bit about it now, but I would say I would recommend reading that. I wrote that a few days ago, and it basically just explains everything. But you all might be familiar with my spreadsheet. Well, more recently, I suppose, maybe you're all familiar with my website, like I've talked about, Bruffy.com. This has a specific section for GTA cars and GTA car testing, and I've used this as a place to, put my tier lists, for example. So you go to sports cars, you can see every single tier for the sports class, and they, like I said, the car upgrades page and car setups page, that has moved over to GTAcars.net, and eventually all of the links that go to my personal site will go over to GTAcars.net instead. But before even that, and pretty much since 2014, I've been maintaining the master spreadsheet, as you all might be aware of. This is the spreadsheet that basically gives you all of the information from my testing. It started out as just a way to better categorize my lap times and showcase my lap times for those who prefer to see it in, don't have to watch the video every single time that you come to check. And I've recently done an update for it that basically, I think it's a much better way to categorize everything all on one sheet when it comes to lap times and top speeds, because they're based on tier. So you can see the Brioso RA in the club in the S tier for the compact class, their position in lap time, their position in top speed, their actual top speeds, both with their positions within their class and their positions overall across all vehicles. And obviously that goes for every single class as well. And this is something that I've had available since 2014. I've constantly updated it. Over the years, it's gotten more involved. For example, that we have a key vehicle info section, which again, I maintain all of this all the time. So if there's ever delays in this getting updated, it's just because I'm waiting for maybe DLCs to finish or things like that, rather than updating it piecemeal all the time. It's better to sort of wait and update it in one big go. But yeah, we got a key vehicle page that I added not quite a while ago now, where you can see things like drivetrain and seats and manufacturer, how much they cost, where you can store them, where you can upgrade them, all that kind of stuff, when they were released. This is all in spreadsheet form, which you've got information about the open wheel wings and their effects as well, and also the handling data information as well. Now, if you're familiar with this spreadsheet, you'll probably be familiar with some of the ways that the site is laid out. For example, we saw the handling data basics section, which is essentially this part of the spreadsheet on the site, and then the handling data full, which is this part of the spreadsheet. The key vehicle info, these are the sort of things that you see on the vehicle pages. There's more info on the vehicle pages on the site, but ultimately what I've deemed to be sort of the most important or useful metrics for vehicles in GTA, I've put on this spreadsheet over the years. But it's a spreadsheet. There are certain limitations to a spreadsheet form. Not everybody likes a spreadsheet. Some people prefer a spreadsheet and to see all the information laid out like this, but it's not the most usable thing in the world. And for a long time, I've wanted to present it in a better way. And, the GTAcars.net idea and vision basically came from that, from wanting to take the information that I've collected and that we've, as a community, generally collected from looking at the handling files and all this kind of stuff, and put it all in one place, and a easier to use place and a more accessible place than just numbers on a spreadsheet. So ultimately, that's where it came from. That is what spawned the idea of GTAcars.net. That is the vision that I had, and I'm really happy with it. I'm really happy with how it's turned out, with the features that you can do with it, what you can do. Amazing. Again, credit to Andrew, who also programs GTA Lens, which is linked in the top right of GTA Cars as well. Check that out. That's for like tools and jobs and things for GTA 5. And we've had a lot of help and feedback to get to this place, and it's only going to get better from here anyway. But like I said, it's ready for you guys to use, and I'm so happy that I've been finally able to share it with you and get it out there. So yeah, use it, enjoy it, and as always, thank you all so much for the support. Hopefully this is helpful, and hopefully we can just keep expanding it and it can get better and better. So yeah, thank you guys so much. As always, thank you so much for all the support that you've always shown me, and go to the site and enjoy it. GTAcars.net, check out all the pages, mess around with the filters and the sorting, bookmark it and enjoy it. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you next time.